first of all, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
I'm Debra Jeffreys and live in Metairie, Louisiana.
And you were the individual involved with what's now known as the let me get this right, the
Livingston Parish.
It was the Livingston Parish.
Mm-hmm.
The Livingston Parish terror ordinance,
Mm-hmm.
when they wanted to make it illegal.
Yes, the divination ban.
Divination ban. And you live in the area, and you had your business inside Livingston.
Well, we'd heard about they were bringing this before their city council and wanted to ban divination. And the way the ordinance was written, it was to be banned for consideration, any shape or form. And it was what we thought ludicrous, the way it was so broadly written, and it was just a fear factor. There wasn't any problems in Livingston Parish. There was no one brought up on charges or complaints of divination, but they were doing this just in case. So we got together and said, this is crazy. We need to go and talk to them and tell them, the error of their ways, and went to the council meeting. And there was a group of us that each got up and talked and explained that it was fine if they were concerned with people taking advantage and the charlatans that are out there, maybe charging a lot of money and trying to get things from people. And it's, if you wanted to put a tax or make it licensed or some way to regulate and control so people aren't taken advantage of, but you can't just over the broad spectrum ban all types of divination. And explain to them that there's weather forecasting, there's medical prognosis is a best guess. Fortune cookies in the Chinese restaurants under this ordinance would be illegal. The weather predictions would be illegal. The sports predictions would be illegal. And one of the council members said that they could talk about it till they were blue in the face, but he was a Christian and loved the Lord, and he was not changing his mind. And we didn't even bring into. I brought up that I was Wiccan, and that this is part of our belief system, and that we do use this in our practice.
More newspapers that brought up you were Wiccan, then okay, because that was represented. But inside that council chamber, you didn't represent yourself.
I did.
Oh, you did represent yourself Wiccan.
And that it was part of our belief, part of our within our rituals, but not based on that aspect, but just the whole broad context.
It's very rare for people to actually do something. What really motivated you to actually do something? I
don't like people telling me I can't do something based on ignorance.
But you're not a professional tarot card. You were not.
No, I'm not.
You actually had no financial, personal reasons for it.
No, absolutely not. And I have read tarot cards and do divination, but not for profit.
So this law really didn't affect you personally?
No, not at all.
For a financial purpose?
Not at all. It just, it was so broadly stated and just ridiculous. And this is the United States of America. We have freedoms here. And that's one of the great things about the country, is that we do have freedom of religion and freedom of commerce. And the people that do make a living at this shouldn't be stopped. And as part of my belief system, and we do divination at all of our public rituals to coincide with the seasons and the coming parts of the year, to tell us that you can't do this just was annoying.
And you felt that it was a Christian reaction, or a fear reaction?
It became very evident during this council meeting, because I did state that I was Wiccan, but I didn't bring it up as a religious reason of why this was wrong to pass this ban. It was just the broad spectrum way they worded it. So that I am Wiccan, I did bring up, but the one councilman especially seemed to focus on that I'm Christian and I'm not changing my mind. Well, I don't care if you're Christian. That doesn't have anything to do with it.
And so then you offered a solution. You offered the usual solutions of licensing or other things because you understand that there could be frauds.
Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. You have to protect your public.
And from that point on.
But then
what happened next? You
so
left that council chamber.
They said no. They passed the ban and said, okay, now this is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, you have to break the law in order to be able to challenge it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I formed and had other people and some donations to gather up some money. I formed a Realistic Mystic Divination LLC. Mm-hmm. And had on my LLC listed as divination for consideration. We worded it as much in exact copying of this law so that I was definitely breaking this law if I went and did this. Mm-hmm. And we talked to the council to be able to go and do divination in Livingston Parish. I tried to get a business permit. And they said that it was fine because my business address was not within the parish, even though I would come into the parish to do my divination.
So they didn't want this confrontation.
They didn't.
They felt that they felt you would go away after a while.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's okay. You feel free. You're not breaking the law because my business didn't reside in the parish.
And then how did it resolve?
So we had Cliff Aiken, who did reside in the parish, mm-hmm. and agreed to become the plaintiff for mm-hmm. our lawsuit. So there was no way they couldn't weasel out of it. He was in the parish, and right. He does divination for consideration. Mm-hmm. And so Cliff became our plaintiff, and my little LLC funded the lawsuit, and Cliff was represented by a local attorney that lives in that parish also. Okay. And they overturned it and said this is against the Constitution, and it was just reversed.
And who reversed it? For
the parish council.
The parish council is the same ones who passed it.
Yes, yes.
And that must have been. They must have. Did they just pass it quickly and then ignored it, or?
They passed it very quickly, and their attorney. And when talking to the council, we told them, talk to your attorney. That this is against constitutional rights, mm-hmm. and he refused to fight it. He told them this is against constitutional rights, and he would not. He wouldn't represent them. That they'd have to find another attorney.
Because he didn't want to call it a constitutional question.
Yeah. So.
And at the time, some people were threatening to take it to the Supreme Court.
So yeah,
How is it feeling being involved with the newspaper situations? The newspapers coming out, because this was national news. Mm-hmm. It was funny that it was nice to see the public opinion, mm-hmm. because most of the places that I saw it posted online, then they were, make your comments, and everything I saw was, this is crazy, and they can't do this, and they were happy to see that we were standing up for our rights, not only for us, but it helps other people in your county when they decide, hey, we're going to ban this. You can come back to, well, it passed here, and it passed here, and it passed here, that this is unconstitutional. So it just gives us more bargaining power later on. Well, your Covenant Church is involved often in challenging things. You're
mm-hmm.
down here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And you guys are very big. I noticed that your group is very big in what they call, boy, my mind just blinked there. We added things too, so don't worry about it. Let me try again. And to having precedent, that your group is very big into having legal precedent. Mm-hmm. I heard, listening around, that you've had a number of incidents. You have good relations with your attorneys, mm-hmm. and developing precedents. Would you agree that's true? Mm-hmm. And this was just along the same lines for you, just build it. You said that you did because it was the wrong thing.
That's how it started. Is just when I heard that they're going to pass this ordinance, it's like, well, no, they can't do this. Somebody has to stop them.
Would you be worried that it would come here to other parishes throughout Louisiana?
It would be a possibility. Okay. That if it were to be passed in one parish and stand. Mm-hmm. Then again, the legal precedent is there. Another parish can say, well, it's illegal here, so now let's make it illegal here. And you can't wait around for it to come to your doorstep. And we do have friends that live in Livingston Parish. We have friends that live all over the state and church members that live all over the state. So you have to watch out for each other